And oh, maybe I'm not going to share my screen. I was just telling Pastor Gary that I need to get better at Zoom, and this is a good indication of why. There we go. Uh, all right. Get back to Zoom here. There we go. Perfect. All right. We have a couple of announcements to get started. A very exciting announcement is that our new Dinner Church website is up and running. Pastor Gary and I have been working on that with the district office and with the company that's doing the website for, oh my goodness, probably 2 or 3 months now. It's been a long work in progress. So if you'd like to check it out, you can go to dinnerchurch.pendel.org. There's a couple of really cool things on there. First, you can get all of the resources that used to be in the Google Drive, but they're easier to find because it's on a website now. So you can find any of the resources that we talk about here. All of the grant writing stuff will be up there. I don't think it's up there quite yet, but that will be up there as well. Another thing that I'm really excited about is we have the locations of all of our dinner churches and the information about them. So if you are starting a dinner, if you could fill out the form on that website to let us know where your dinner church is and how often it's meeting, the location, that kind of stuff, that would be great. It's also helpful for churches who are looking to plant a dinner to find a dinner close to them that they can visit. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. If you guys look through that website and you find anything that is like really hard to navigate, or you're like, this would just be really better if we did it a different way, if you could just let me or Pastor Gary know. We are definitely open to feedback. We want that site to be a place where you can go and find resources, and we want it to be beneficial to you as you are planting your dinner church. Also, Pastor Gary is going to be going with Pastor Don around to the sectional tours here in February, and he has an announcement about that. So, Pastor Gary, I'll let you take that away.
Morning, everyone. Good to have you on the call. Yeah, so things are really taking off in the Assemblies of God in our district as well with Dinner Church. But Verlon is actually meeting, I believe, today with all of the district superintendents from the Assemblies of God. And the subject is Dinner Church. So, I mean, this is really getting to be really hot. And we are so honored because we're like on the ground floor of this. And so, let's do our best. I know you all will. Let's do it well, because there'll be people turning to us, I'm sure, all of us, asking for information, some guidance, and so on. But anyway, if you could send some testimonies to me, I will use them in a presentation as I go from section to section, just like bullet sentences or something. What Dinner Church has meant to you personally. You might give me a testimony of what it did to an individual who's attending. It could be how it's impacting your mother church. Most of our dinner churches are packed churches, so we have mother churches involved in it. And I had a couple of good feedbacks already, but the more the merrier. And I'd like to get word out about your dinner church. So please get me information. Just email it to me. My email address is right there. It's bellasg51@gmail.com.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, those are great to just be able to share. I know oftentimes Verlon is texting either me or Pastor Gary to ask about what's going on in the district and cool stories that are happening at your dinner churches. So if anything cool happens, let us know about it so that we can share what God's doing in your context. Our next meeting is February 19th. You can put that on your calendar as well, our next Zoom call. And that one's going to be a little bit different. We've given you a lot of information, and we're going to give you a lot more information today. But we figured it would be good to take a meeting and just see where you guys are at and allow you to bring either a resource that you have used that's been really helpful in launching your dinner that might be helpful to somebody else, or bring an issue that you're having. So maybe you're in the process, you're going to launch in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and you're just running into something that you don't know how to handle, or you just need some feedback on. Bring those with you as well, and we'll just go through and kind of popcorn around and get resources and help each other out on things that are coming up. I know that sounds like really like not as organized as some of our meetings have been. But I join a Zoom call every month for lead pastors that do exactly what I'm talking about, and it has just been really, really helpful. There's people that will bring up an issue, and I'm like, oh, I'm not dealing with that at all. And then the next month that thing comes up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I was on that Zoom call because I got some really good feedback on how to handle that situation. So February 19th, you can mark your calendar for that Zoom call. You'll get an email about it, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Dwayne, would you mind opening us up in prayer? And as you pray, just keep Verlon in prayer because, as Pastor Gary mentioned, he is meeting with all of the superintendents of the Assemblies of God today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Dear
you.
Lord, we're just so thankful for the technology we have to be able to gather together here easier than trying to do it in person, Lord. We're thankful for the leadership that pulls this together between Jess and Gary. We're also thankful for Verlon and his vision and following the guidance of the Lord and in putting this together to try to help and aid all the different churches in the country and around the world to do these day night church, Lord. We just pray for him to be sensitive to your leading, your spirit, Lord, and we just pray that in his meeting that there's a lot of fruitful discussion and moving forward and trying to establish many more dinner churches around the world, Lord, and around the country. We just pray over all the dialogue in this meeting, Lord, and let us be sensitive to your leading and let our actions and our words be glorifying to you, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Well, today we are going to talk about how to fund a dinner church. So I feel like that's one of the biggest questions we get is we want to do this, but how do we pay for it? Right? So there's a couple of ways, grants and other ways that we're going to talk about today that we have funded our dinner church. That's not the right one. Let's go back here. There we go. Um, so there's a couple of ways that we have funded our dinner church. Some of the biggest expenses that you'll find when you start is obviously you need food, right? You need some equipment to transport the food. You also need a venue to host your dinner church. Sometimes you can get those venues donated. Sometimes that's an expense monthly that you are or weekly that you're paying for, depending on how often you're having it. Also, you need things like silverware, plates, tablecloths, those types of things that you might not think of right off the bat. So, you may also need hot boxes if you're cooking one place and transporting food to another place. So I'm just going to go over some of the ways that we have funded our dinner, tell you some stories, and then if you guys have any questions, you can certainly ask those. I did send all of this information and even more notes on each point to Sue, and those went out with the email that had the link to the Zoom call. So don't feel like you need to write everything down. This meeting will also be recorded and we'll post it on that new website that we were just talking about. So don't feel like you need to write the whole time unless you want to. Um, but the biggest way that you could initially fund your dinner is through your parent church. As Pastor Gary said, a lot of our churches are PAC churches, are parent affiliated churches. So they're like a campus location of the main church. I know that some churches fund their dinners fully this way. The parent church helps fund the dinner church when needed. Our church, I was trying to think back about that. I think our parent church maybe took one offering initially to get dinner started, and our parent church has not contributed anything else in the last 4.5 years since then. So, also, if you have a small church that like the budget is just not really great, that is not a limiting factor of dinner church. There are definitely other ways to get funds to make dinner happen. Um, One of the things that we do every week, and I know Pastor Gary does this as well, is we have a donation box at our dinner on the dessert table, and we announce every week, the food here is always free, but if you'd like to contribute to future meals, you can donate on your way to the dessert bar to grab your dessert. So that we found that we usually get about $1 a person in attendance, maybe a little bit less than that per week. Actually, usually a little bit less than that per week. But that's a good, consistent way that we're bringing money in that we can sow back into the meals for the future weeks. Um, a lot of the ways that we fund our dinner is through donations and through grants, but I'm going to talk about the donations here first. Um, if you guys have not been to Bolo at Newport, where Pastor Gary was, I'm going to keep saying is because I need to switch that in my brain. He just retired. Um, but if you have not been to Bread of Life Warehouse and you're starting a dinner church in Pendel, you need to do that. Even if you're a couple of hours away, like it's definitely worth it. You need to go up there and see what's available to you. They have different things every month. So we usually go up once a month to the warehouse, and then we make our menu after we go up for that donation for that when we go up to the warehouse, we make our menu after that. So they have a lot of awesome things that you can use. We support Bolo as a missionary, so they're on our missions budget. If you are utilizing them consistently, please consider doing that. They give all of the product for free, but it is not free for them. They have lots of expenses to pay to keep that up and running. So if you are using them consistently, please consider donating as part of your missions budget. Um, Also, we have, hey, sorry, my dog is joining the meeting today. Um, we also get donations from grocery stores. So we have two grocery stores that we go to consistently. One of them every week, one of them just whenever they have a donation and want us to come pick up, they call us. But they will give us food that is either they're not selling or it's near expiration, but we are cooking meals every week, so we can utilize food that is near expiration. Um, the key to receiving donations is take everything they give you. So don't go to the grocery store and be like, we just want milk and we're not really going to use that pasta, so we're going to leave that here. The grocery store managers, they are looking for someone who can come quickly and somebody who will take everything. So if you can do that, you will definitely get donations. The grocery store, the items that we don't use, we'll pull aside like the meat and the vegetables and the pasta that we are going to use. And then anything that we aren't going to use, we just put out on a free table as a grocery giveaway on that Tuesday night. So it's a benefit to the people that attend dinner church as well because they're getting some groceries that they might not otherwise get. Also, most grocery stores like Giant, Weiss, Carnes, they'll give you one $25 gift card a year, which is not a lot, but if you're going to 5 or 6 stores, that adds up. So you could do that initially as well. If you write a letter to the store telling them what you're doing, usually they'll give you a gift card without too many questions or strings attached. Um, Another avenue that we have used is business partnerships. So we have a lot of small businesses in our town, a lot of restaurants. We also asked everybody in our congregation on Sunday morning if their place of employment, if they were in any kind of food service or truckers have really been a huge source of donations for us. A lot of times if a pallet gets damaged, they have to figure out where to donate that pallet. And if they know they can call somebody and drop it off right away, they will definitely do that. We just had this past Tuesday night, I had a guy who is a truck driver. He came into our dinner. We start cooking at like 2:30. He came in at like 3:30 and he said, "Hey, can you take a donation?" And I was like, "Sure. What do you have?" And he said, "I have 300 pounds of ribs. They're frozen. Can you take them?" And I was like, "Yeah, that would be awesome." I was like, "When do you need them gone?" He was like, "In an hour. Can you meet me there?" I was like, "Well, I can't, but I can send somebody to meet you there." So I sent 2 of our volunteers with my house keys and the church keys and the cargo van to go pick up the meat because I knew it wouldn't all fit in the church. So I knew they'd have to come to my house and put some in my house freezer as well. um, but it was one of those things that it was like, we're not going to pass up this donation, but we need to be a little bit creative in how we're going to receive it because we have dinner tonight. So he donated the meat, and then we have partnered with other local businesses throughout the years to do dinner. And one of the restaurants that partners with us pretty consistently is a barbecue shop. And they have a food truck, and they have come out to our events and given us a steep discount. Like we only pay for the product when they come out and give away food at some of our events. So I called the barbecue shop this morning And I said, hey, we just got a huge donation of ribs. I don't know how I'm going to cook them. I said, yes, we will take them. And I literally have no way to cook these ribs because we have one commercial size, like pretty small oven in the fire hall and one at the church and my oven at home. Like that's what we got here. I said, so if we donated 100 pounds of ribs to your shop, would you cook the other 200 pounds for one of our dinners on a Tuesday night? And she said, absolutely, we would love to do that. And she had another idea, which was awesome. With the other 100 pounds of ribs that we're donating to them, what they're going to do is they're going to advertise that if somebody buys a meal, they can, at their shop, they can donate a meal that is sponsored by Faith Assembly. So it benefits the shop because they're going to get people in to buy ribs. It benefits the community because people can come take a ticket off the wall and get a free meal. And I don't have to cook the 200 pounds of ribs that are filling up my freezer that I literally have no way to cook. So, I think that being creative in ways like that is really necessary. Like if I had to have a full plan for the ribs before I said yes to the donation, then we would have missed out on that opportunity to benefit the community and to benefit our dinner. So, sometimes it's like, you know what, I'm going to say yes now and we're going to figure it out later. That's usually what it's like, actually. But things like that are really awesome ways that are mutually beneficial. There's only two donations that I can think of that I've turned down. The second week of our dinner, somebody asked if they could donate 1,000 peeps, like chickens. And I told them no. I was thinking about that this morning. If somebody asked me that now, I would probably say yes because I have enough connections that I could probably get rid of them. But 2 weeks in, I did not have the connections to house or distribute live animals, so I said no. And then Convoy of Hope tried to donate a tractor trailer full of hand sanitizer to us right after COVID. And I had no clue what I would do with that much hand sanitizer, so I told them no. But any other donation that has been offered to us, I try to always say yes because they might have. 80 boxes of candy right now. That's another donation that we got a couple of weeks ago from a truck driver. And I don't really need candy, but I know that I can put it out on the tables and use it, and that's fine. But next time they might have vegetables or meat or something that I do really need. And if I tell them no this time, then they're going to go to somebody else who told them yes on the candy. So really partnering with businesses, maybe just taking a flyer and talking to business owners and telling them what you're doing, like, hey, we're going to start a free community dinner. I just want you to know what's happening. Don't ask them for anything right away. Just give them a flyer and say, hey, this is what we're doing. If you have anyone that comes into your shop that is really in need of a meal, that a meal could be helpful, send them to us on Tuesday night. We'd love to have them. We've had a lot of businesses that have sent us people. Our hardware store, for some reason, she gets people that come in all the time that have needs, and she will send them our way. Also, the bank manager, she recognizes people's financial patterns, and oftentimes will be able to tell if somebody is in severe need, or we've had quite a few elderly people who are being scammed that she has recognized that they're being scammed, but she can't talk to them about it. And she's called us a couple of times and said, hey, can I send this person to you on Tuesday night? Can you just have a conversation? Also, I really think a meal would help them. We have 4 people that attend our dinner that, like, every week that have attended for months that the bank manager has sent to us. So it's beneficial in multiple ways, not only for the donations, but also those community connections will send people your way who really need a meal and need Jesus. So that is helpful. Like I said, if you have congregants in your church, ask them if their work does anything with food. If they do, businesses love to donate towards causes that their employees are involved with or connected to. So that's a great way as well. And then, like I said, we'll go to public council meetings here quick. So public or city council meetings, whatever yours is called, you might have a township or a borough. We're in a township and I try to go to our public meetings once a quarter. I usually get there about twice a year. but I do the same thing. I just take a flyer and tell the borough council or township council members what we're doing. That has like been an unexpected way that we have gotten quite a few donations. The township employees donate all of the food for our Thanksgiving meal, which is one of the biggest meals that we have throughout the year. We feed about 300 at our Thanksgiving meals, and I send them a list like a month before Thanksgiving of all of the ingredients that we need, and their employees donate them like a food drive, and then I pick them up the Friday before our meal and take them to the fire hall and cook it all. So it's a great way. And I didn't ask them to do that. I just went and let them know what we were doing. And they were like, "Oh, we're looking for a place local to donate. Could you take donations?" And we said, "Yeah, absolutely." They also had COVID relief funds right after COVID that had to go to nonprofits in the township. And they ended up giving us $32,000 in grant money that was completely unrestricted, which is completely unheard of. Like most grants do not give you just completely unrestricted funds. So that was a huge help and benefit. That's one of the reasons why our parent church has not contributed to dinner church since that first offering, is because soon after we started, we got that grant from the township. But networking is so important. Just be in your community, meet the stakeholders in your community. If you come to Ministry Summit in April and you have not been to the Rural Compassion training, they do a great job at training you how to connect with some of those stakeholders in your community. But there's so much money and so many products that are given away all the time without grant applications. So there was no application for the COVID funds. The people on the board were simply selecting the organizations they were giving it to. And if we hadn't been at the council meetings telling them what we were doing, they would have had no clue that we existed. So if you have kids that are at a school, get to know the principal. Like any connections that God has given you. Again, you don't have to ask them for things. Just make sure they know what you're doing so that when things come available, they're like, "Oh, that church down the road, we know they're doing awesome things. We want to donate towards what they're doing." We have just this past year sent out business partnership letters asking businesses to partner with us to cover one meal of the month. So we asked them for a $500 donation. That's what it would cost if we had to buy everything. We're only spending about $150 to $200 a month because we get a lot of donations. And we're cooking for 200 each week. We have about 120 that are there each week. So just to give you an idea, but we offer to allow the businesses to bring their employees to serve the meal that night. We also thank them on our social media and give them an opportunity to share for a couple of minutes at the beginning of dinner about what their organization is doing in the community or their business. So I have in that email that you got, there's a sample letter for business partnerships if you'd like to adapt to that or utilize it. The next way that we have gotten funds is through grants. We have gotten about a little over $100,000 in grants in the last 4 years. So that's about $25,000 a year, which is definitely not enough to like buy buildings and hire additional staff. But some of the grants that we got, like the one that we got to buy this white van up here, that grant was more than my church budget the first year that I started at the church. So it definitely has been helpful, especially at a small church. It's really boosted what we're able to purchase and then what we're able to do. Because there's no way a church our size would be able to buy the equipment that we have purchased with grants. Food, equipment, and supplies are the easiest things to get with grants. Grant organizations typically they don't want to fund staff and they don't want to fund buildings as much. There are definitely some grants out there that you can get for those things, but they're a little bit harder. And if you're just starting out, The food equipment and supplies are going to be the grants that you want to go after because they're a lot less paperwork and a lot less on the back end reporting to them of what you're doing. So I would encourage you to go after those grants first, the food equipment and supply grants. Um, Also, organizations giving out grants, they're looking to address a specific need in the community. So when you're writing the applications or when you are looking for grants, you want to look for food insecurity grants, for grants that are looking to connect people, for grants that are looking to the grant that we got the white van from was a food recovery grant. So they wanted to fund organizations that were using food that would otherwise go to waste. And because we partner with Bolo and because we partner with the grocery stores that give us at expiration food, we qualified for that grant. Rescuing food is not something that we set out to do when we started Dinner Church, but lots of people care about that. So we added that to the packet that we send out with our grants as one of the goals that we have of Dinner Church is to rescue food that would otherwise go to waste because that's something that we're doing. Like I said, it's really important to be creative. You can write grant. There's lots of things that people are giving grants out for that you might already be doing that you just really haven't thought of yet. I know I've mentioned this before, so if this is repeat information, I'm sorry, but this is definitely one of the ways that I have found most of our grants. If you have a parachurch organization, like a benevolence organization in your area, I would recommend following their Facebook page or maybe signing up for their newsletters because oftentimes they will thank the people who have given them grants. And I just make a list. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I just make a list because if they're willing to fund that organization, they would likely be willing, that grant would likely be willing to fund us. And most of those parachurch organizations have full-time grant writers on staff that are looking for the grants that I just don't have time to do. So I've made that list. And actually, just this year, I've recruited a couple of other people in our church to take over some of the grant stuff. So I send them those grants, they research them, decide whether or not it's something that we would be eligible for, and then apply for it if it is. We'll go here to the common concerns. Really, if you can be a pastor, you can write a grant. Being a pastor is a lot harder than writing a grant. So I know a lot of you, and you definitely can write a grant. They are a lot more intimidating. They look a lot more intimidating than they actually are. As long as you have a clear mission, statistics, stories, and your 501c3 paperwork, which you can get from the national office, if you don't already have that on file. All Assembly of God churches are a group exemption under the national office. So you can call the national office and ask for your 501c3 paperwork. They'll send you their documents and then a letter saying that your church is part of the group exemption. Pretty much every grant that you apply for is going to ask for that documentation. So if you don't have that, that's a good place to start. Call them and have them email that to you. That would be great. Another common concern is that if we receive a grant, they'll decide how or if we can share the gospel. We have gotten a lot of grants, and that has just never been true. You get to pick the grants that you write and apply for. So if there is one that is limiting how you can share the gospel, just pick a different one. There are lots of religious organizations that give out grants that want you to share the gospel. So there's lots of them. Like I said, the one that we got the van from, that was through DEP, which is a government grant, and they had no restrictions on how we could use the equipment or share the gospel. So there's lots of them out there to write. Also, some people say there's too much follow-up. Again, if you're getting a grant for like buildings and salaries, there's a lot more follow-up. The smaller grants, really, you're just submitting your receipts online most of the time. So if you use Expensify or something like that for your expenses at your job or at church, it's no different than that. It's pretty easy. And then also, I have heard some people say that like they don't like the non-discrimination clauses in grants. Actually, most grants will say that you need to serve everybody. You can't discriminate against who you are serving. This doesn't mean that you have to agree with lifestyles or with anything that is listed there. It really just means that anybody who comes in for dinner, you're going to feed them dinner. You're not going to turn them away because of their sexual identity or their race or anything like that, their disability. So as long as you are willing to serve all of those people, which I certainly hope that you are, you will qualify for those grants, and that typically is not a problem. Um, all right. Here are some grants. Like I said, I sent out this list so you don't have to worry about writing it down. Um, I'm just going to highlight a couple on that list, but these are some of the ones that are on my Excel list. We've received some of these. Some of these I have not applied for yet, and I just listed them so that you might qualify for them. If you have not applied for the Pendel grant, Pendel is offering a $6,000 grant to anyone starting a dinner church. So that's definitely something that you want to apply for. Also, Walmart has grants that you can apply for. Those are super easy to apply for. You can apply to any Walmart or Sam's Club within 20 miles of your address. So you can go on, create an account. There's some more information in the packet that I sent. If you have a community aid or a Green Life thrift store near you, they have grants as well. That's where we got the blue van that's in this picture and the trailer, the black trailer that's attached to it. We're both from community aid grants. Um, those are easy applications as well. Community Aid is a great partner. I know they're in like central Pennsylvania, but if you don't partner with them, you don't have to have a bin or anything like that. They just give you a number. And there's lots of benefits to being a partner of theirs in addition to the grants that they give. Um, Let me see what else we have on here. A lot of banks have grants. So maybe the bank that you bank with personally or the bank that your church banks with would be a great place to start. Check and see if they have a grant. Um, some grants are, they'll give you cash and then you turn in their receipts. Some grants will give you product and they'll tell you you need to take a picture of it or whatever their requirements are. And then some grants are reimbursable. So, like the DEP grant was a reimbursable grant. We had to purchase the equipment and then they reimbursed us for it. One of the product grants that has been really helpful to us is the 4imprint 1x1 grant. So some of you may have ordered from 4imprint in the past. They do like t-shirts and pens and cups and things like that. Every month they select so many organizations that they will give you up to $500 in product for free. And it's customizable. So you can put your logo on it. You can put whatever on it you want. In one of these pictures, I think it might be on the next one, we got cooler bags. Because like I said, we do groceries most weeks. And oftentimes people will come without a cooler bag and then we have milk or meat or something like that that we don't want sitting out until they go home. So they gave us, I think, 100 cooler bags that we gave out, one per family at our dinner. I don't know how many organizations they select per month, but our our organization was selected the first month that I applied. So I'm guessing they're looking for organizations to give product to. You can just look up 4imprint 1x1 grant. That is like, it's like 5 questions. It's a super easy form to fill out. And the only thing you have to do is take a picture of the distribution when you hand it out and post it on social media with our hashtag. So really easy. Really easy there. And then I just have some sample letters here that you can adapt, utilize, steal, whatever is most helpful to you. I have our business partnership letter, and then what we ask the businesses to do. So you can see there outlined what we're asking the organizations, how much we're asking them to donate, and what we're asking them to do, and then what we're doing in response for them. And then also Anytime anyone donates, so like community aid, the grocery store, I try to get a letter out to the people who are donating consistently at least once a year, just to thank them for their donations. I've talked to quite a few local organizations that give out grants, and we've sent them a thank you letter, and they've told me that they've been giving out grants for the entire time they've been employed at that place, and nobody has ever sent them a thank you letter. Um, so that has been something that's just really been a good way to connect and a good way to show them what the money that they're donating is supporting and benefiting. So you can see there, that's a letter that I actually went and spoke to the employees at Community Aid. And I took this letter with me and gave it to the employees and then gave one to the manager to hang up like on their little thank you board. Um, so I think that's a lot of information. I think that is all of the stuff that I have right now. Do you guys have any questions about grants or about funding a dinner church? It doesn't have to be just about grants.
I would just add, Jess,
Yeah,
one
go
more
for it.
thing. And first of all, we all want to express our appreciation to you, Jess. She's the queen of grant writing, I'm telling you right now.
I don't know about
She is,
that.
no, you are amazing. You are amazing. And she just does her research and she's a great resource, if you have questions concerning any of that. Um, but also, expressing appreciation is just key to anything we do in the community. Express appreciation, make sure to give pats on the back to people that donate food or
Mhm.
whatever they're doing to help you out. Make sure that they get thanked publicly, not only with a letter but publicly that you mentioned before your people. Also, in all of our churches, there are people, if you've been around a church, if you've been in your church for any length of time, you know who the key givers are in your church. And there are some people that really have the gift of giving. And that's a legit gift. And there are people that don't ask them to do something. Don't ask them to, you know, if it needs to be funded, go to them. They're the people. And it's just really good for pastors to know their people, to get along with a person like that and say, hey, here's what we're planning on doing. And this is amazing ministry. Here's what's been happening across our district. And we want to start a dinner church, or we have one going. And, but particularly for startups, I know one person, I'm not sure if they're on the call or not, but they have someone that in their church that's like financing the whole startup of their dinner church. I mean, everything, the rent, the food, the whole nine yards, an individual. So there are people that I'm telling you, you're not raining on their parade. You're making their day. When
Yeah.
you can explain how it's going to benefit the kingdom of God and reach people for Jesus, they're all in. So just a word along that line as well.
Yeah, another thing that we do that we didn't start to do it for grant writing, but it has really been helpful is we borrowed Pastor Gary's survey that he uses every year, really to fill out the ACMR reports at the end of the year with how many salvations and baptisms and that kind of thing. But we add some statistics on there, like how much money, we have like a category of like how much money are you making, what county are you from, are you a veteran, a senior, disabled? Because you can get grants for some of those categories. Like there are lots of organizations that want to support seniors and want to support veterans. We have 41% of our attendees on Tuesday nights are over 65. So you may be able to get a grant for some of those demographics that you might not otherwise get. Alrighty. Any questions about funding or grant writing? Anything that you've done maybe that has been really helpful that you'd like to share?
Did you mention the Walmart Spark grant?
Yes, I did briefly mention that one.
Hi, I'm Linda Miller, and I'm from Emlenton, near Clarion, and I joined the the Emlenton Civic Club over a year ago, and I used to be I'm a retired English teacher from the high school, and so joining that civic club helped me to see there's two major grant givers in our community. There's the Kerr Fund and the Sutton Fund, and they were established by ancestors that created the community. So we tied into the Kerr Fund, which is through the Civic Club, and we were able to, as December the 9th, we got our first grant for $2,500. So we're kind of in that process. I was told to go ahead and apply for the Sutton grant, which is up to $5,000, but to wait until late summer because they have some funding. So it helps to get involved in community organizations. I don't know, I'm under the pastorship of Tim Farkas in Emlenton. So he's in Trinidad on a missions trip. But when he gets back, we'll be discussing what are we going to do with that $2,500? How are we going to get started? And we really want to go and experience an actual dinner church. So he'll be contacting some people and getting some information from that. And as a participant in the Civics Club, they asked me if I would be the secretary. So I think that helped as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. If you get involved in whatever community endeavors that are out there, I think that is very helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell Pastor Tim to look on the new website for the locations of all of the dinner churches to find the one that's closest to you guys.
Yeah, he'll be back. I think it'll be late next week. I know he has I think they're there for 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
And then we'll be discussing our next steps and where we're going.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, to that point that you're making, Linda, as well, if you have like a business and professionals group or a Rotary Club, those are other really good organizations to join. One of our volunteers for our dinner is part of the Rotary Club, and they give out, I think, a $2,000 grant every year to just one organization in the community. So we'll be getting that grant this coming year. So those organizations are great because some of them they don't really have an application for some of those. Some of the grants do have applications, but some of them is just word of mouth, and there's a board of 4 people that are picking the organization that they like the best. So it's good to let people know what you're doing and how they can be involved.
Yeah, like VFWs, any organization like Moose that have games of chance, by law in Pennsylvania, they must donate a certain amount of their profits to nonprofits. So, I mean, it's getting to know the people. Most of them are like Jess mentioned, it's who you know. So you make some contacts, you make some friends along those lines, and their money's available along those lines as well. And Jess, you want to mention that our new website address again, please?
Yeah, it's dinnerchurch.pendel.org.
Okay, so that's up and running now for those who joined the call late, and we're still working on some bugs in it, but that's going to be something it's really great, and we really appreciate having that website, and that's going to be a big assist to everyone as we move forward.
Yeah. Any other questions about funding? You're all good to go. we got all the money we need. Awesome. All right. Well, we have a couple of minutes left here on our call. Are there any situations that you have run into that you just need some advice on? Maybe it has nothing to do with funding, but you're hitting a wall and you're like, I would just really could use some advice on this topic.
I read in something that seemed to be, going out of our way to really lay down a nice meal, right? Does that mean that most people are dealing with like tablecloths and doing the wash every week?
You could do that if you want to. We do
If you're
not.
masochists in your church, yeah.
Okay.
We
Well,
we
that's why I
use
asked.
plastic.
What
Yeah,
do
we
most?
use
Okay.
plastic tablecloths. I actually have gone back and forth and considered getting cloth tablecloths, not because I wanted to look nicer, but because the price of plastic tablecloths has like gone crazy. When we started dinner 4.5 years ago, a roll of 300 feet of tablecloth was $11.99 at the restaurant supply store, and now it's $32.99. So it's tripled in price. Um,
And plasticware versus silverware.
yeah, we use plasticware as well.
Yeah, so do we too. It's much easier to deal with. But
It's
we
cleaner too.
started out with really nice linens and everything like that. But I saw pretty quickly that the linen, what it took to get the spaghetti stains
Stains
out of the
out.
linen. I mean, we were winding up having to use them for burial cloths for peoples of our for our team members who wanted to kill other people, for using
Um,
those things. But anyway, yeah, the plastic's a much better way to go.
Yeah, I think when Verlon is talking about abundance with the meals, he just means that like when somebody comes in, you don't want it to be like pizza and chicken fingers every week. Like a home cooked, like how you would be hospitable to people that are coming over to your house. Um, Not just like oh, whatever we can throw together because we have to cook again this week. Like he just an abundance mindset in we want what we're presenting to the community to be of quality.
In the videos, the Welcome to Dinner Church videos,
Yeah.
he talks about, not having a poverty meal, which is basically just subsistence,
Yes.
Yes.
which is like pasta and sauce.
Yeah.
You got to have some meat in there,
No, that's right. They always mention too about making enough food so that you can do seconds most of the time. And sometimes that doesn't work out for us because you never know who's going to come in that week.
Yep.
Some week, you have all kinds of people coming in. Next week's a little down. But cooking for abundance, if you're able to do that, is really good. It just speaks well, I think.
Yeah, and that's been helpful to us. The so we always cook. We have about 120 that come every Tuesday night, and we always cook for 200. Sometimes that's because, like Pastor Gary said, we have a big night and we have a lot more people than we expect, and we need that food to feed the people in the room. Um, but most of the time, that is either to-go meals for the people who live in the hotels or on the street or in their car, and they don't have another way to cook a meal. So that's another meal for them throughout the week. And if I still have food left over after that, I have a list of shut-ins from our church and a group of volunteers that will take meals around to the shut-ins, which has been another really great way to just connect with the shut-ins that we don't always get. We don't get as many opportunities to connect with them as I would like. So it's a great touch point for that as well.
Thank you.
We have a couple of families that want to be involved. All of them, they want to be involved with their children and such. And do you have any recommendations for how to involve the children in serving people and what we should be doing in terms of clearances for our team and stuff like that? I know, for instance, my daughter, she has a gift for hospitality, and the thought of not being able to be a part of what we're doing as we're sitting here talking about it uh, would, kill her. But we want to be able to be sure that the children that want to be involved can be involved safely. So we're trying to figure out how we can best manage that.
Yeah, we make sure that all of our like volunteers that are leading a team have their clearances. But really, we're all in one room at dinner, so there's not really any point where there's an adult in charge of children who are not biologically theirs or adopted theirs. So I think that having the main leaders of your, like, whoever is over the kitchen, whoever's over your desserts, whoever's over the serving line, certainly if you have a kids activity or youth activity, having those people cleared. But we definitely encourage kids to serve. We do ask that their parents serve with them in most cases, so that we don't have a bunch of fifth graders up there in charge of the food. But we love having kids serve. We have Milton Hershey School, a couple of about 20 minutes from us, and they bring houses of students probably 5 or 6 times a year. And they bring high school students partnered with elementary school age students, and we let them serve that night. We just have a couple of adults up there monitoring what they're doing. We don't let kids in the kitchen just because I feel like that's probably a little bit more dangerous, but we definitely let them help serve the food. If we have younger kids, we'll put them on their rolls, like give them some gloves and let them hand out a roll to each person coming through. But we have quite a few kids who serve every week with us. Pastor Gary, do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's just the kitchen point's very good. Try to keep them out of the kitchen. They don't get burned or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, there are things depending on how you serve your desserts. They can push carts around, and serve desserts, or there's a lot of little things you can do, but teamed up with an adult is usually the best way to do that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, we have kids help us set up each week. We, like I mentioned, we have a bunch of candy that was donated, so we'll have them put candy out on the tables. We have table numbers and napkin holders. We'll have them put those out. Some of the older ones help us with tables and chairs. So, yeah, I think it's great.
Yep, they do. Cleanups, they're good for
Very much.
cleanup. They go retrieve all the salt and pepper shakers and all the things on the tables, and it's good.
Yep.
Hey, by the way, Pendel just hired somebody to help with clearances and screening. Do you know that person? Can you tell us who it is, Jessica?
Yes. My sister, she is going to be helping out with clearances. She has a pretty good background in criminal justice and teaching and working practically in criminal justice field as well. So, yeah. So, hopefully she'll be able to help with some security as well. I know that's a question that we've had quite a few times. Maybe we can have her on one of our future calls to talk about some security issues.
That'd be cool because she works with you at your dinner church, right?
She does, yes.
Which is awesome. It's so good. Well, guys, you have a brand new website. Did you show it to anybody yet?
Yeah, no, I can pull it up here. Let me.
This is kind of really exciting stuff here.
I think I have it up. Let me see if I do. Nope, I do not. There we go.
Just while you're doing that, I just wanted to add that I attached all of the things that were in the email in the chat also, if people want to access them there.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. There we go. So yes, this is, let me pull this out of the way. This is our website. So you can see here's the locations that I was talking about a couple of times during the meeting. If you go there, you can see all of these are the locations. I believe we have all of the ones who are officially PAC churches with the district on here. But if you are currently doing a dinner church every week and you are not on here, please let us know. You can come down here to the bottom and fill out this information to add your dinner church to the map. But also, if you are like Linda was mentioning, they're looking for a dinner church to visit. If you're looking for a dinner church to visit, you can go in there and find the times and locations that dinners are meeting in Pendel. We also have all of the resources that we talk about on these calls. So you can look at them. The ones with the computers are our previous calls and the topics that we covered in those calls. And then some of them are either like training volunteer resources or the PAC church application, the grant application from Pendel that we were talking about. We have a sample budget on there that you can look at. So lots of really great resources that you can look at. We also have some frequently asked questions that Pastor Gary and I have answered in talking to some of you and to talking to other people as well. So you can look on there and get some of your questions answered. And then also my contact information and Pastor Gary's contact information are there as well. So if you ever have a question or if we can be a resource to you in any way, you can get a hold of us with the contact info there. Yeah.
Great job. Great job on this.
Also, the Zoom call info is there, and we're going to get the link up on there as well. So if you ever lose the link or can't find the email, you can just go to the website and click on the link for our Zoom call.
It's awesome.
So, alrighty. Well, I think we are about out of time here for our call. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. If I can help you in any way with the grant stuff, please feel free to reach out. I would be more than happy to help you in any way that I can to get you started. Pastor Gary, Tom, do you guys have anything else?
No, but maybe the three of us can hang together a little bit afterwards.
Okay.
And the call next month again will be like a Q&A setting.
Yep.
You know, if you're starting up and you have some questions or hang-ups or situations, or you have some things you really felt worked well for you, you have a dinner church in progress right now, or you're starting toward putting one together, and some things that really work well for you, or information you received that can be shared. Join us next month. We'll be getting into that kind of thing. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Jessica,
you all.
great job. Great job. Gary, thank you so much. And everybody, I just put the link too for that Dinner Church website is in the chat feature if you want to copy it before you leave. So good stuff.
Perfect. Thank
Great.
you.
God bless all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. God bless.